For many of us, the idea of dogs apologizing might seem a bit far-fetched. After all, they tear up our cushions, dig holes in the backyard, and sometimes can't resist raiding the trash. If you're a dog owner, you're probably no stranger to these mischievous moments. But does that mean they don't understand right from wrong? Do they actually feel guilt, or is it just their impulsive nature at play? In today's video, we're diving into the fascinating question of whether dogs can apologize and how they might show regret. While dogs are known for their playful and loving nature, there's sometimes naughty behavior, chewing shoes, barking too much, or even having an accident indoors. Often makes us wonder if they actually realize when they've done something wrong. And when they do something they know isn't quite right, we often notice a change in their behavior. But is this just them reacting to our frustration, or could it be their way of saying sorry? We've all seen that guilty look, the tail tucked, head down, and those eyes that seem to plead for forgiveness. But does that really mean they feel guilt like we do? Stick around as we explore this intriguing question and take a closer look at how our dogs might show their own version of an apology. And before we jump in, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss out on more fascinating dog behavior insights. Let's get started. As dog owners, we're all too familiar with the little troublemakers our furry friends can be. Whether they've gotten into the trash, chewed through a favorite pair of shoes, or left little accidents around the house, these mischievous moments are something we face all too often. While we may laugh or sigh in frustration, one thing's for sure, it never fails to make us wonder, do our dogs actually feel bad for what they've done? Do they experience guilt the way we do? Or is it simply impulsive behavior at play? One of the most interesting and often debated aspects of these situations is the aftermath, the infamous guilty look that dogs give us. You've probably seen it, tail tucked, head down, and those big, soulful eyes that seem to be pleading for our forgiveness. It almost feels like they're saying, "I'm sorry, I messed up." But here's the big question. Is this look really an expression of guilt? Or is it just their reaction to us being upset? Is it possible that our dogs actually understand when they've done something wrong? Or are they simply responding to our emotional cues and adjusting their behavior accordingly? In today's video, we're going to dive into this fascinating question and explore whether these apologetic behaviors actually signify genuine remorse, or if they're more about how dogs interpret and react to our emotions. Are dogs capable of feeling guilt the way humans do? Or is it something entirely different? What does this behavior really mean? And how should we respond to it as owners? Stick around as we explore the nuances behind your dog's behavior and see if we can uncover what's really going on when they give us that guilty look. Let's find out if dogs can really say sorry in their own special way. When we look at our dogs and see them giving us that classic guilty look, tail tucked, head down, and those wide, pleading eyes, we might assume they're feeling guilty for what they've done. But here's the thing. This isn't true guilt in the way humans experience it. Dogs don't have the same complex moral compass we do, so they don't really understand right from wrong in the same way we do. Their behavior isn't an admission of guilt, but rather a response to our emotional state. Dogs are incredibly in tune with our feelings. They are deeply empathetic creatures and have an innate ability to read our body language, tone of voice, and facial expressions. So when they sense that we're upset, disappointed, or frustrated, they react by showing submissive behaviors. This change in their behavior isn't a sign that they understand they've done something wrong per se. Rather, it's their way of trying to maintain the bond with us. By responding to our negative reactions, they instinctively aim to de-escalate the situation and restore the positive connection between us. Their goal isn't necessarily to admit fault, but to show us that they are aware of our feelings and want to make things right in their own way. So, how exactly do dogs communicate their apologies? While they might not apologize like we do, they do have a unique set of behaviors that show their desire to make amends and reconnect with us. One of the first ways dogs show their apology is through physical gestures. When your dog nuzzles against you or gently licks your hand, it's not just seeking affection. It's an attempt to bridge the gap and restore a positive interaction. These physical gestures are a way for dogs to shift the focus from the negative behavior to something more positive. Tail wagging, for example, isn't always just about happiness. It can also be a sign of reassurance, indicating that your dog is trying to make things right. Some dogs even go the extra mile by bringing you their favorite toy. This action is often seen as an attempt to redirect attention away from any tension and invite you to engage in a playful, positive activity. It's their way of saying, let's move past this and have fun together. Another way dogs communicate their regret is through gentle physical contact. When a dog leans against you or places its paw on your lap, it's more than just affection. It's a sign of reconciliation, a way to show that they trust you and are trying to reconnect after a negative interaction. These gestures are deeply rooted in their social nature, as dogs are pack animals that rely on group harmony and instinctively seek to smooth over any tension. Along with these physical gestures, dogs also exhibit submissive behaviors as part of their apology. A lowered head, avoiding eye contact, and adopting a submissive posture, such as lying down or rolling over, are clear signs that your dog is acknowledging the emotional shift in the relationship. These actions are not an admission of guilt in the human sense, but they are an instinctual way for your dog to show deference and recognize the imbalance in the relationship dynamic. Dogs are highly social animals that rely on their pack for security and companionship. When they sense that they've upset the pack, their natural instinct is to re-establish harmony. These submissive behaviors are part of how dogs communicate their respect for the emotional state of their owners and how they seek to mend any potential rift in the bond. Dogs are incredibly in tune with their owners' emotional states, often picking up on subtle cues that we might not even be aware of. A shift in your tone of voice, the way your body language changes, or even the expression on your face can send a message to your dog, and they respond accordingly. When a dog senses disappointment or anger from their owner, their first instinct is often to adopt submissive behaviors. You may notice them lowering their head, avoiding eye contact, or even retreating to a quiet corner. These actions are their way of signaling that they recognize something is off, and they're trying to smooth over the situation. Dogs don't have the ability to process human emotions in the same way we do, but their keen sense of empathy helps them understand that something is wrong. It's not about them feeling guilty, but more about them reacting to your mood in an effort to restore peace. Interestingly, some dogs might not immediately respond with submission or affection when they sense tension. Instead, they may act aloof or even hide, retreating to a space where they can process what's happening. This behavior might look like avoidance, but it's actually a way for the dog to gather themselves before re-engaging. Once they've had time to calm down, they'll likely approach you again, seeking comfort and re-establishing their connection. It's a sign of their emotional processing, as they need a moment to reset before moving forward. When your dog exhibits behaviors that resemble an apology, it's essential to respond in a way that acknowledges their emotions without reinforcing negative actions. Ignoring a dog's attempt at reconciliation can lead to confusion. Your dog is reading your reactions just as closely as you read theirs, so ignoring their attempt to mend things may leave them unsure about how to move forward. Instead, a gentle acknowledgement can help reassure them and reinforce the bond. A calm, soothing response is the best way to show your dog that everything is okay. A soft, comforting voice and gentle petting can help them feel safe and understood. Dogs thrive on positive reinforcement, and your loving response can reinforce the idea that they've done the right thing by seeking reconciliation. Physical affection, such as scratching behind the ears or giving your dog a belly rub, is another powerful tool in strengthening your bond. These actions show your dog that they are loved and accepted, even when things go wrong. However, it's important to be mindful of when you give treats. Treats should be used to reward positive behavior following the misstep, not to encourage misbehavior itself. If your dog is trying to apologize, rewarding them with a treat might confuse them into thinking the misstep was acceptable. Consistency in training and patience are also key. Dogs are learning all the time, but they don't immediately grasp human rules and reactions. They need clear, consistent guidance on what behaviors are acceptable. With patience and positive reinforcement, your dog will begin to understand the boundaries you've set. Just like with humans, dogs also have their own set of social rules and ways of communicating with one another. When it comes to interactions between dogs, what might seem like an apology to us is often a demonstration of respect or an effort to de-escalate tension. Submissive behaviors between dogs, such as bowing, exposing the belly, or even licking, are not necessarily apologies, but rather part of their social hierarchy. These actions signal respect and are used to defuse potentially aggressive situations. For example, when one dog bows or shows its belly, it's a way of saying, "I'm not a threat, I want peace." These behaviors help maintain harmony within the pack and are a natural part of dog-to-dog communication. Other forms of dog-to-dog communication, like licking, playful growling, or even sniffing, are also part of the social fabric. Licking might be seen as an attempt to show affection, bond, or reassure another dog, while playful growling can be an invitation to engage in friendly play. However, interpreting these behaviors correctly requires understanding the context. For instance, a dog that licks another dog might be showing affection, but in a different context, it could be a sign of submission. Understanding the nuances of canine communication between dogs is just as important as understanding the signals your dog gives you. By paying attention to the specific context and the relationship between the dogs involved, owners can interpret these behaviors more accurately. Recognizing these subtle signals can help owners ensure that their dogs are interacting in a way that's safe, respectful, and harmonious. This deep understanding of canine behavior, both with humans and other dogs, strengthens the bond between pet and owner and ensures that everyone is happy and content in their social environment. So, can dogs apologize? While it may not be in the same way we understand an apology, it's clear that dogs have a remarkable ability to recognize when something's wrong and attempt to mend the situation. Through their empathetic behavior, submissive gestures, and thoughtful actions like nuzzling or bringing a toy, dogs communicate their desire to restore harmony and maintain their bond with us. As owners, it's important to acknowledge these signals with understanding and patience. A calm response, gentle affection, and consistent training can help guide your dog toward the right behaviors, strengthening the bond you share. And remember, every dog is different. Some may apologize in more obvious ways, while others might take a bit more time to process and come around. In the end, the more we learn about how our dogs communicate, the better equipped we are to nurture a deeper, more harmonious relationship with our furry friends. If you found this video insightful and want to learn more about your dog's behavior, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss out on our future content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.